Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Rosie here, and I play Dead by Daylight so you don't have to. We got a new format here, bro. We got a new format we're trying out here. I have no idea if this is gonna fucking work or not, but we're gonna try out something a little bit different here. Again, like I've been saying on the stream, my fucking poor phone here has been a little overstimulated lately, and I'm having some issues kind of uploading. So rather than try to fight that and record the whole 40-50 minute video here, and we'll just kind of go through his and kind of see if this kind of format treats us a little bit better. So it's that time again. The devs have absolutely destroyed the slowdown meta of Dead by Daylight, and if rumor has it, and if Oates Vara gets his way, they are going to be nerfing the endgame build that we have been using as well. So if they go through with that, the way to do that is to just fucking hit that shit right in the Rancor. So assuming that they do that and Rancor does get nerfed in some way, shape, or form, you're going to need some fallback options. So right now it hasn't been nerfed, so I kind of have included that endgame build in this discussion here. But in terms of the game right now, what can you do? What are the options that you have as a killer right now to actually deal with survivors? So I kind of went through. I did some testing today on a kind of a 6 hour stream. Kind of thought about some of the stuff I've run in the past, and kind of went through and picked out a few options here to kind of go through and give you some ideas. This is going to be the most wildly different one that we've done so far. Whereas before, it was kind of just like whatever slowdown perks were working would be kind of what you kind of threw in here with some other options in between. This meta here is a meta about fucking synergies, which is what you'll come to find. A lot of the killer perks that are actually good right now and are actually a little bit usable might be underwhelming when you read them at first, but it's a meta of synergies. And again, when you start reading the perks partners and you start seeing all the shit that kind of goes with it, that's when everything starts to click and become a little bit clearer. So that all being said here, let's just go through and we'll start reading what I have here. And after one day of testing, as well as my own thought process, you'll be able to kind of see some of the builds you can kind of create, and we'll kind of go through them as well. First one I put a relatively strong, consistent option, Bamboozle. Yeah, this Bamboozle's at a weird. It's at a weird spot because it's decent and it's always been decent. Again, block the window for 16 seconds, right? It increases your vaulting speed by 15%. Bamboozle's always been okay. It's always been okay, but it hasn't really ever been one of the strongest things in the game, which is why they never really hit it, which is why it always kind of stays in that consistent spot where it's always okay, but it's never at the level of like a save with the best for last, which was too good and got gutted, and now it's worthless, right? Bamboozle's never hit that tier of power, but that means it hasn't ever been destroyed either. So it's still a usable option for you in that respects. Next, Call of Brine, a perk that was destroyed a while back, has received no changes since its destruction, and is still not that good. TBH, I just thought I would mention it here because it has worked its way into my Nemesis build, and I think I'm going to keep it in there because of the fact that you get a loud. It's not even the regression that you use it for. It's the loud noise notification that you kind of use it for. Nemesis is zombies get loud noise notification when, and that can attract nearby zombies to that generator. So it's not really that good, but it has worked its way into one of my Nemesis builds solely because of that effect, and it does give you a little tiny bit more regression. I thought I would at least mention it just because of that. That being said, it's not an option I really recommend, but it is in a build of mine, so I threw it in there. Corrupt is still good. It's still doing its job. However, I really do think that Corrupt has fallen out of the meta, actually, even ignoring Endgame, simply because of one perk's rise, which we'll kind of get into here, and it's actually in quite the second, right now, actually. Coup de Grace. I tested Coup de Grace today extensively. I have tested it before, but I retested it today. And I have found that this perk is actually very useful. And it was always okay, I guess, again, but now it's again, you're losing slowdown options. So and you're possibly losing endgame options. So the more and more shit that you lose, you have to turn to other things. And I've come to the conclusion that since uh, a consistent option to kind of really hold them to like 2 or 3 gens in a match is pretty much gone, and a decent team, provided again if you're not running endgame, of course, which is the meta, even decent teams can get you down to like 1 gen now. So that got four gens is 8 tokens of coup de grace. And the way that the lunge actually, like, once you get better with this lunge, you will find that it has play with your food levels of transformativity. I don't even know if that's a fucking word, but I just said it. You will find that its ability to transform locations and tiles is actually quite massive the more you work with it. And again, you're not going to get every token, isn't going to be some massive play where you get an extended lunge that you wouldn't have gotten otherwise without the fucking thing. But you will find that when the shit works, when it does something for you, it's actually impressive. And I know some people might have be inclined to say that this has been good for a while. But now that you've lost things like Pop Goes the Weasel and and um and like Pop Goes the Weasel being destroyed was a massive fall for grace for this for the slowdown options, especially. And then also again things like Deadlocked were nerfed. There were some preemptive slowdown nerfs to where they pretty much have killed every slowdown option in the game, and that does impact this perk's usage, I would argue, simply because now you're going to let 3 or 4 gens go to get a couple more downs in a game, which again, and this could help you with tunneling, it can help you with spread pressure, whatever you want this thing to do, it can pretty much do for you. So that again, you can only hold 5 tokens at a time maximum, so do keep that in mind. Make sure you are semi smart with it, but this perk has, I would say, the most improved option since the last time. Another one to keep in mind here is a new perk, one of Vecna's. 2 of Vecna's perks are actually in this list. Dark Arrogance. This is the Vault perk that Vecna brings to the game. The permanent increase to 25% duration on any Vault, but the drawback of increasing your stun percentage by 25% as well. I tested this combined with Bamboozle, where as you can see here, things are starting to get a little clearer. 15% combined with the 25% from Dark Arrogance, that brings your vaulting speed up to 40% increase. And then I'm going to go ahead and skip a little bit further. You can start to see the idea that's coming together with that specific build. The Wesker perk that was dropped in as well. Where the fuck is that perk? I didn't forget it, did I? I didn't forget it, did I? I think I did. Superior Anatomy. I totally forgot the fucking shit. Hold on. I totally forgot it. It's here. Superior Anatomy. You get increases vaulting speed by 40%. And it has a cooldown of 40 seconds. So you could start to see what's going on here. You have a 40% increase from Superior Anatomy combined with the Superior Anatomy should be in this list. I just forgot it because I'm stupid. But 40 plus times 40, you get 80% increase to your vault speed. Now, again, you are correct. On most killers, that doesn't particularly matter. And I tested that. I tested that build with a basic vault on a basic killer. That didn't particularly matter. However, on a killer like Michael Myers, whose vault is already extended, that can actually do something. So now that I've tested some other stuff like coup de grace, I don't think that's particularly the best thing you can do. But it is an option on killers that already have extended vaults and can already amplify their own vault speed, like a DC Merchant, an Alien, a Myers, etc., etc. So that one's worth keeping in mind too. Next, Dark Devotion. This perk always puts in work when I run it. I haven't tested it yet officially. I might, but this perk always seems to put in some work whenever I run it. I haven't tested it yet, especially in this meta, but I have found that in previous metas, when I have ran it, it has put in some massive work, and with no changes, it should pretty much do the same thing. So that is always an option for you. It does have some anti-synergy with Play With Your Food, though, so do keep that in mind, which we will get there. Next, Dead Man Switch. Dead Man Switch, in terms of gen blocking, is the best block perk in the game. And we are going in alphabetical order. Spoiler alert, Grim Embrace is not on this list. Grim Embrace fucking sucks. Okay? Grim Embrace has sucked the entire time. It's not a good perk. Okay? I don't know how that perk has high usage. Grim Embrace is fucking terrible.
But Rosie, you can block the gens for like 40 seconds, man.
Yeah, but you gotta fucking
a minute. You can block the gens for a minute, man. If you run Grim Embrace.
Grim Embrace is fucking garbage. You gotta hook every survivor, that's bad. If you're playing any team that is actually good and knows what they're doing, you're, number one, not really gonna hook everybody until you've won the game already. And two, you might not even be able to hook every survivor in the game at all. Grim Embrace is fucking terrible. And if you want some more on that, if you want some more on that here, where did I skip it? Where the fuck is we'll get to it. We will come back to Dead Man Switch. I have more I want to say on it when we get to the next perk that kind of combos with it. But for right now. Next, Discordance, another perk that I didn't test yet. Might be good on Nemesis again because of the noise notification with the zombies. It can also just really get you to stop those times that are fucking you in the ass. That 44-second number, that's really bad. It's really rough. Those times in particular can really just suck the big wiener. So you really do want to stop those. And Discordance can kind of help you do that. So it's still not one to sleep on. Again, it still doesn't really prevent the times from going off sometimes, but it can give you that information. And sometimes that information can be helpful. And being able to stop those times, even stopping those times 1 or 2 times a game can really save you in some situations. So not one to sleep on either. It's not horrible. Eruption, in terms of slowdown, is still one of the better perks in the game. It did have synergy with Pop and does have anti-synergy with Dead Man Switch, so you really don't want to run them together. Gem block, Eruption and Dead Man's don't work together, so that is kind of unfortunate for Eruption, with the fact that it doesn't synergize with Dead Man Switch very much. Which Dead Man's does have a place in the meta. We will get to it. But Eruption is still a solid choice, especially if you run a 2-perk chase combo, which, I mean, the other half of it's very obvious, but we'll get to it there. I run Surge over it right now, but if Surge is good, Eruption also is. So Eruption's still putting in work. Next, Force Pendants. I'm never going to doubt Force Pendants' power. Twins is making it a win condition. And then stopping these heals in that can just straight up win you games. I haven't really found a build for it yet, but outside of what Twins are doing. But what Twins are doing is so kind of far off from the rest of the killers that it's not really in line with what the other killers do. However, we did lab Force Pendants on the rest of the roster that one day, and it did get us some good results and some good value. So that being said, I'm assuming that it can still put in some work if you can find some procs for it and get it going. Maybe on like a pinhead it would be usable or something like that. I don't know. I'm just spitballing off the top of my head here. Hag might be able to run it, but Hag prefers Sloppy. Sloppy's not that good anymore. But I'm never going to sleep on Force Pendants simply because it can win games if you can proc it correctly. Next, Franklin's Demise. This is an odd one, but we will just going to go ahead and skip to the final perk here. The final perk on this list is actually a new perk called Weave Attunement. Weave Attunement is more annoying than good. However, if you have high mobility, you can use it. Weave Attunement, the auras of dropped survivor items are revealed to you, as well as auras of any survivors within 12 meters of dropped items. Causes survivors picking up items to suffer oblivious from 30 seconds. So you can kind of see what the idea there is right away. Where you use Franklin's to knock the items out of your hand to set up kind of perma aura reveals with Weave Attunement. That's kind of what's going on here. This is especially effective on killers like Hag and Trashalarity, maybe even Trapper. You can put some cheeky shit there, trap the nearby area. But if you have this, you can kind of knock the items on the ground and kind of use that to establish a web or a board on a Trashalarity or a Hag that is trying to do so. Or if you have a character like Hillbilly, you can actually get them. You can actually, but Hillbilly wants to be chainsawing anyway. Or Blight can even do this. Nurse and Spirit can even do it. But maybe not so much Nurse. Spirit and Blight can do it. But again, I don't really care what they're doing, but they can. Hillbilly. Who else is fast? Who else? Wraith can do it. Like anybody, Freddy could even probably do it with his gen teleports. So, kind of a versatile strategy. Again, I think those killers want to be doing other things for the most part. However, this is a combo that survivors are complaining about right now and saying is kind of annoying. Again, it's more annoying than good. But if you have a high mobility killer that has some good lethality as well, like a Wesker can probably do this as well, you can make this happen against average teams. So I thought I would at least just throw it in there and maybe, you could run Weave Attunement, but you're also kind of giving up Slowdown, so do keep that in mind. Or you're giving up Chase, so like you could do Weave Attunement, Franklin's, and then 2 Slowdowns or 2 Chase, or 1 Slowdown, 1 Chase. Again, lots of stuff to test here. Lots of stuff to test there. Next, the partner to Deadman switch of Friends Till the End. You hear that, you go, what? Friends Till the End? What the fuck does that have to do with a Deadman switch? Well, if you actually read it again, you have to hook the obsession to apply the following effect. Cause survivor to scream and reveal their location to the killer. If the survivor is on a generator and they scream, that counts as letting go of the gen, which is not in there. So, again, that might not be apparent right away, but if you hook them and they become the obsession, they're on a gen, they scream, that counts as letting go of the gen, and that gen is automatically deadmans for 30 seconds. So it kind of gives you back the old pain reso effect of where you hook them, they scream, and then it blocks the gen. Well, you go, but Rosie, your obsession is inconsistent, man. That's what Game of Foot is for. Game of Foot is mostly in the endgame setup. That's where it's primarily used. But Game of Foot also, because of its ability to kind of play around with the obsession mechanic, you can do some weird shit with it, like this build here. The build is Game of Foot, Deadman Switch, Pain Resonant, Scored Pain Reso, and oh shit, what was the last fucking perk? Oh, kill me. What was that last perk? Did I have play in there? No. What was that last perk? Hold on, let me check. Hold on. What's that fucking shit, bro? Let me check that shit. Do-do-do. Score choke. Oh, well, that's 2 perks. I'm stupid. Friends Till the End, Game of Foot, Score choke, Deadmans. That's the bill. I'm fucking stupid. I don't know why I wasted y'all's time with that. But that's kind of the perk there, where you can kind of using Game of Foot, always hook the obsession, or you can go back and tunnel them, do whatever. Because once you go back and tunnel somebody, they will become the obsession again if you have on Game of Foot. So you don't even have to worry about the obsession swapping over. You can still tunnel somebody with Game of Foot. That's what Game of Foot is allowing you to do in the Friends Till the End build. And using that build, you can kind of get a lot of value from Gen blockage. Whereas the issue with Grim Embrace is that it's not good enough. It's not long enough, right? It's not doing a whole lot for you. What you think Grim Embrace is doing for you, Friends Till the End can actually do for you. That more consistent gen blockage. And you also do have Pain Reso there as the last slot in that build to kind of add some regression value. Because we have discussed before, blockage is blockage, regression is regression. Regression is still overall better than blockage. So adding Pain Reso to that combination, getting a little bit of blocking value is actually decent there. And this build, it's better than you think. I would definitely, it's one of the better slowdown builds in the game right now. Game of Foot, again, we already went over that. Its ability to kind of leave the endgame build and be elsewhere. This perk is very versatile. And also don't sleep on that 5% haste it gives you when you're chasing the obsession. That can be clutch sometimes. But its real utility, of course, is in the endgame build, swapping the obsession over, getting multiple Rancor kills in a match. Very nice there. Machine learning. This one actually isn't in the game yet, but the values are big enough to where you definitely should keep an eye on it. 60 seconds of 10% haste and undetectable upon completion of a compromised generator. That's big. If you can proc that even once, that can fucking do something for you. That's like a Dark Devotion and 2 stacks of Play With Your Food in one perk. It's not in the game yet, and I can't even promise that's going to be that good. However, those values scream good. So that's definitely worth testing when the fucking shit comes out. Next, No Way Out. Y'all know what this is doing. Up to 60 seconds of endgame blockage on a gate. This is primarily used in the endgame build to delay the gates being powered so you can kill people with Rancor. However, we are predicting that Rancor is going to be nerfed. However, No Way Out is more general than Rancor is. You could swap No Way Out on a different build to kind of use its effects to maybe get one more at the end of the game. No Way Out doesn't really need Rancor to be usable, if that makes any sense. You can still maybe get one more down and then camp the fucker out instead. So this is still going to be usable provided Rancor is destroyed in an upcoming patch. But it's still obviously good right now. Play With Your Food is still the best chase perk in Dead by Daylight, without any shadow of a doubt. If you subscribe to Wage's belief that you are mostly fighting the maps in this game and rather than the survivor's skill, Play With Your Food is now better than ever, with up to 15% haste, absolutely transforming the way that you play tiles. Again, you really just need one. One means you can outplay them. 2 means you should get them. 3 is pretty much overkill. That's kind of how Play With Your Food works. One stack invites gameplay to the match. 2, you can basically get them. 3, if you can't get them, you suck. So, and again, this perk is very, very good, and you can get people with this. This is probably the backbone of any chase build that you use right now. Every chase build that you use on standard killers should have this. However, killers like Nemesis and Chucky, killers that will use their M2 and utilize their M2 in a lot of situations, will not use it. And that's where things like coup de grace come in and kind of be your main chase perk. However, on a standard M1 killer, you can actually use Play With Your Food and coup de grace together, and that opens up a whole new can of absurdity to where you can use play, coup de grace, 2 slowdown options. So there is that. But Play With Your Food is all in all the major chase perk of Dead by Daylight right now, and will be until it is also nerfed, which then after Play With Your Food is nerfed, coup de grace will rise up and take its place. That's something you have to think about as a killer. What are they going to nerf next? Because they're always nerfing you. They never nerf the survivors. What are they nerfing next? It doesn't matter. What are they going to nerf next? That's stay ahead of the devs in terms of their nerf cycle. So because we found a combination of like play and coup that kind of seem to do the same thing and they're good together, coup de grace is there when play with your food isn't. We already know that because of perk killers like Nemesis and Chucky. So down the line, when play with your food is nerfed and they do destroy it, which they inevitably will, that's when you can swap it out for coup de grace and then maybe add another slowdown or a no way out or something to kind of take its place there. Or another chase perk like a bamboozle or some shit. Who knows? Next, we got Rancor. Rancor is the best perk in Dead by Daylight right now, beyond any stretch of the imagination. It is the main perk in the best build that is currently in the game. This is the best killer perk in Dead by Daylight right now. If you run the endgame build and you've seen what it can do against 4-man Swift, you know that. Rancor, enough said. It is the best perk in the game right now. And devs will nerf it, so don't get too attached. Remember Me really isn't that good by itself. It is just good in the endgame build, so I have to slap it on here just because it is good in that build and it does its job in that build. But once Rancor is gone, this perk will also be gone. It's not like No Way Out where it's going to be able to go to something else, or it's not like Game of Foot where it's versatile enough to actually transcend its build. Remember Me is being dragged along by Rancor 100%. Next, Tinkerer. This perk, again, it's not that great, honestly. It is in my Nemesis build because of the loud noise notification, and it actually did a fair amount for me. So I was impressed with it, enough for it to make this list. And so maybe try it, see if it gives you anything. High mobility you can kind of work on. The noise notification for the Nemesis shit zombies. It kind of did its job. It definitely did okay. And it pulled its weight, and I was decently impressed with it. Unforeseen. Lastly, the last perk here that we haven't went over. It's kind of another Dark Devotion, which I put Dark Devotion on this list. So as a result, I couldn't really leave out Unforeseen, as it kind of does the same thing. I haven't tested it yet, admittedly, but on paper it should be okay. Might even be a little bit more consistent because you don't have to hit anybody, and it might be better in those play with your food builds just because you don't have to hit the obsession. So that all being said, those perks I believe are the foundation of Killer right now. Obviously, we did include the endgame build, even though we are predicting that it is going to be destroyed. Apparently they've even confirmed that they're going to nerf it. I don't know if that's the case. On my stream today, I was told that has been confirmed, that they are confirmed going to nerf Rancor. However, I have not seen any evidence of that yet. That being said, I 100% believe that they're going to nerf Rancor because that's what they do, and they nerf everything. So, that being said here, this is kind of your fallback options. Me personally, I think the future, what I'm gonna run on most killers, not all killers. I already found some shit on some other characters, but for a standard M1 killer, I'm gonna run coup de grace, play with your food. Surge, I don't think I put on here. I think I forgot Surge too. Surge is on this list as well. Surge / Eruption, like coup de grace, play with your food, Surge / Eruption, and Pain Rezo is kind of going to be the main thing that I run. However, depending on killer, you might also see things like the Weave, like the higher mobilities. You might see things like the Weave Atonement, Franklin stuff. Or again, if you need a standard slowdown build on all killers, like if you need a standard slowdown build, like we said, the Friends Till the End shit seems to work and seems to actually be very transferable amongst the roster. So if you need a build, if you just need a build to kind of try a couple rounds, that Chucky, that fucking Friends Till the End, Dead Man's might be the way to go. Unless you feel like you need a lot more chase shit. If you feel like you need a lot more chase it, you might want to throw a slap on coup de grace. The thing about that Friends Till the End build is you have to run everything in that for it to actually really be effective. In fact, the one thing, if you're going to take something out, you actually take out fucking Pain Rezo because you need Game of Foot to make Friends Till the End actually consistent to proc Deadman switches. So if you think you can get by with no pain resol, you could put anything in there. But needless to say, that's kind of a starting point here. So that all being said, I hope this format was actually good. I'm getting the hell out of here. Ignore my shit up top here. This was the if anyone's looking at the date here, this is the day that Trump was almost assassinated. So we have lots of that going on here. Good shit, guys. I'm getting the hell out of here. GG's.